Shalom. We the real Hebrew Israelites coming in week out to prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom. You know, first and foremost, we give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and salutations to you brothers who preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity, who's rightly dividing the word of truth directly and correctly. You know, blessings, salutations to you brothers and to you few sisters that watch. You know, and I'm just gonna get straight into the lesson, man. The lesson today is gonna be called The Two Dragons, man. Because basically, this is what this movie is about, man. You know, the two main stars of this movie. You know, the two dragons, and we'll just get into it. Here you get Esther in the Apocrypha, the 11th chapter, the 2nd verse.
All right. This is Esther, the rest of the chapters of the book of Esther, 11 and 2. In the 2nd year of the reign of Artaxerxes the Great, in the 1st day of the month, Nisan, Mardochæus, the son of Jairus, the son of Simeon, the son of Sisai, of the tribe of Benjamin, had a dream, who was a Jew and dwelt in the city of Susa, a great man, being a servitor in the king's court. Mm-hmm. He was also one of the captives which Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, carried from Jerusalem, which Echaniah, king of Judea, and this was his dream.
All right, so this is Mordecai having a dream, you know.
Behold, a noise of a tumult with thunder and earthquakes and uproar in the land. And behold, two great dragons came forth ready to fight. And their cry was great. And at their cry, all nations were prepared to battle. They may fight against the righteous people. Mm-hmm. And lo, a day of darkness and obscurity, tribulation and anguish, affliction and great uproar upon the earth. And the whole righteous nation was troubled, fearing their own evils, and were ready to perish. Then they cried unto the Most High, and upon their cry, as it were from a little fountain, was made a great flood, even much water. The light and the sun rose up, and the lowly were exalted, and devoured the glorious. Now Mordecai, who had seen this dream, and what the Most High had determined to do, was awake. He bare this dream in mind, and until night, by all means, was desirous to know it.
Was desirous to know it, right? Because this was before everything was played out. You know, the Lord pretty much gave him a vision of what was to happen in the future. You know, so he had that vision and he didn't understand it, right? So now can we jump back to the previous chapter, chapter 10, and we start at the start of the rest of the chapters.
The book of Esther, chapter 10. The Mardochæus said, the Most High have done these things.
Right. So now this is after everything played out. You know. Go ahead.
For I remember a dream which I saw concerning these matters.
See, you remember a dream that he had beforehand. Go ahead.
And nothing thereof hath failed.
And nothing failed. Exactly how he had the vision. Exactly how everything played out in real life, man.
A little fountain became a river, and there was light in the sun and much water. Mm-hmm. This river was Esther, whom the king married and made queen. Mm-hmm. The two dragons are I and Ammon. Mm-hmm. And the nations were those that were assembled to destroy the name of the Jews. And my nation is this, Israel, which cried to the Most High and were saved. For the Most High has saved his people, and to the Most High has delivered us from all those evils. And the Most High has wrought signs and great wonders which have not been done among the Gentiles. Therefore have he made two lots, one for the people of the Most High, and another for all the Gentiles. Mm-hmm. And these two lots came at the hour and time and day of judgment before the Most High among all nations. So the Most High remembered his people and justified his inheritance. Therefore those days shall be unto them in the month of Adar, the 14th and 15th day of the same month, with an assembly and joy and with gladness before the Most High, according to the generations forever among his people.
Right, and that's where we get Purim from, you know. But now I'm gonna liken this and today's turmoil, today's situation we living in today, man. You know, because it says that there were two lots, and this lot came at the same hour, time, and judgment, man. And these heathens gonna find out that, hey, it is two lots, man. The lot for Israel and the lot for the rest of you heathens, man. It's going to be known that Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai rests upon Israel, man.
I got one for you, just real quick. Obadiah 1, and I'm gonna get to the point because you know this is about Esau, right? This is verse 15. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. As ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Hey, there you go, man, the two lots. This book, Obadiah, is going into Esau and his destruction, but it also goes into the rest of the heathens, man, going down with him, and Jerusalem, Israel being delivered, man. That's the two lots, man.
Yep. Yep. So from there, can we get we gonna go into these two dragons. Verse 7 in Esther 10 and 7, it says, and the two dragons are I and Haman. I being Mordecai, which he clearly said he was a Jew, he was an Israelite, you know. So we are considered dragons on the right hand side. We are considered serpents on the right hand side, because the dragon and the serpent are interchangeable, and we can prove that. Can a brother get Matthew 10 and 6? And I grab John.
This is Matthew 10 and
16.
16. Matthew 10 and 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
So the Lord told us to be wise as serpents, man. Because that's what a serpent, that's what a dragon represents. It represents wisdom. Now Esau, Edom, which Haman was an Edomite, he represents the dragon, the serpent on the left-hand side. And us, in turn, represents the dragon, the serpent on the right-hand side. This is John, the 3rd chapter. Salakia. This is John 3 and 14. It says, and as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. And that serpent represented Yahushua, you know. So Yahushua is that great serpent, man. Yahushua is the great dragon, man, on the right-hand side. And the scripture says we are to be like-minded as Yahushua. So which makes us serpents, which makes us dragons on the right-hand side as well. You know? So now we all know that Esau is the dragon on the left-hand side, which Haman was an Edomite. You know, you can read Revelation about the old dragon, the serpent, you know, that was cast out. But in his dream, it says that the nations were gathered at the cry of these two dragons, man. You know? And I thought you were something. And we can get Esther 3. We jump to Esther 3. Because everything that pretty much everything that went on in the book of Esther is happening today, man. Esther, the 3rd chapter. Be straight to the point. Verse 8.
Esther 3 and 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom. And the laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws, therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hand of those that have the charge of the business to bring into the king's treasuries. Mm-hmm. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jew's enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee.
Exactly. So this was Haman's counsel to the king Ahasuerus, man. You know, because when you look back through our captivities, the Egyptian captivity, Assyrian, Babylonian, the Persian, even the Greek captivity, man. You know, we even the Roman captivity, shit, all the captivities before this one. You know, we knew who we were. But Esau Edom knew he fucked up in the Greek and Roman captivity by doing what? By allowing us to know who we are, man. So guess what he did, man? This last captivity, he did what? He beat the memory of you being Israelite out of you. Why? Because that's his power, man. That's how he stays in the power seat. By continuing to have you niggas sinning, man. You know? So from there, I'm gonna jump from there to cause pretty much this whole sit down is about the two dragons, man. It's about Jacob and Esau, you know? And what they call the Philians, they call them extras. And the extras is the rest of these nations, man. You know? This is Esther 13, and in the Apocrypha, I'm gonna start at the top. It says the copy of the letters was this: the great King Artaxerxes, which is the same King Ahasuerus, because we're talking about the same time period, writeth these things to the princes and governors that are under him from India unto Ethiopia in 127 provinces. After that I became Lord over many nations and had dominion over the whole world, not lifted up with presumption of my authority, but carrying myself always with equity and mildness, I purpose to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life, and making my kingdom peaceable and open for passage to the utmost coast, to renew peace, which is desired of all men. Now when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, Ahasuerus is asking his counselors, like, hey, how can I have peace throughout my whole realm, man? You know? How can I have peace between all men, and how can I have peace between all nations, man? What does this sound like, man? It sounds like, hey, one world government, man. Everybody on one consent, right? Check this out. It says, Haman, that excelled in wisdom among us and was approved for his constant goodwill and steadfast fidelity, and had the honor of the second place in the kingdom, declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations, and continually despised the commandments of the kings, so as the uniting of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward. So this devil, so this demon, so this Edomite council was to the rest of these heathens was that, look, man, we can't live peaceably. We can't continue in peace and be cool with one another as long as these people are still alive, man. And what that shows you? That shows you
hatred.
Ezekiel, you holding it?
No, I'm gonna get it though.
I'll grab it if you want to hit the scripture that you had.
I'm gonna read it out. I got you, bro. You can break it down. I got you. It's Ezekiel 35, and I'm starting at 1. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And Mount Seir, Genesis 36 and 8.
Yeah, I got you right here. It's Genesis 36 and 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
There you go. And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee. I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh. Because thou hast had perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time of their iniquity had an end. Mm-hmm. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I prepare them to blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Yep. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee, man. Because why? Because you had that perpetual hatred, man. Can you get that in Amos?
While you're getting that, and it said the time the iniquity had an end, man. So, Revelation 12 and 12, man, when this thing is said, man, Esau's going to make that move in the time of our calamity, Jacob's trouble, essentially. You know? So Esau's going to come back down on us with that wrath, man. All right, in the time that iniquity had an end, man. At this end time, when Yahweh is ready to return together, as you see us waking up, coming back to our heritage, guess what's going to happen? That great dragon, Esau, you know, he's going to come against us, man. But this is Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth he has but a short time. So that dragon, you know, Haman, Haman, all right, they finna come make that move, man, because they have perpetual hatred. Hey, look, he thought he was finna. He hated Israel so much, the hatred he had towards Mordecai. He thought he was finna get to this big feast with the king and the queen, He was happy. You got it?
Yeah, it's on there.
Okay, Salaki. Yeah, I'm gonna jump the gun. I just want to split the He hated him so much, man. He said, none of that means shit as long as Mordecai's alive, man. That's how Esau feels, man. They really just want to get rid of us.
Yeah, I'm right here. I get it for you. This is Esther 5:9. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh his wife. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches, and the multitude of his children, and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the princes and servants of the king. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared, but myself. And tomorrow I am invited unto her also with the king. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
Right. That's that battle, man. 2 dragons.
And then he showed you that hatred, man. He showed you that he had the whole world, man. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Esau has everything, but guess what? It satisfies him not as long as he see you niggas, man.
And it's worse now that we waking up.
And that's the point. That's the point. Because Wisdom of Solomon in the 2nd chapter, it says what, man? It says that they are grievous even to behold, man. And that's talking about us when we in our right state, man.
Contrary.
So now that we standing upon our feet, man, that. Go ahead.
What did you said? I was holding it. Hey. This is Revelation 11, and it goes back to. Let me read it. The Revelation 11 and 10. Slack. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these 2 prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. Which goes back to what he read. He said, how can we have this peace in our kingdom? So Esau, Haman, and even all the heathens, man, they hate us, man, because we are clean contrary to them. All right, because we are made to approve their thoughts. All right, because that's who the 2 prophets are, the northern and southern kingdom, 2 olive branches. Okay? And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. You know, so there you go, man. They scared to be waking up. All right, because they know they're going to go down. All right, they have to. All right, but the point is, man, they fucking hate us, man. Look, they got their riches. They joined in bed with Esau, built their countries up. Look at places like Dubai or United Arab Emirates. All right, look at how rich China got. So you see this thing, yeah, we got peace in our realm. Even though Esau's bombing the fuck out of them, they happy with that money, man. They happy that we were just down and beaten. Psalms 83, man. They was happy to make the name of Israel be gone. We waking up, man.
And because, hey, the spirit is the spirit. But that's the point where it says that the nations were gathered at the cry of these 2 dragons, man. Because when you read the story of Esther, what did Haman do, man? He gathered all those nations against Israel for that day, man, which is going to happen again. This Edomite, Haman, the Rothschilds, Esau, Edom, Amalek, is gathering all these nations again, man. Ezekiel, the 23rd chapter, man. Your lovers is going to come against you, man. All these different nations is going to be on the soil of America, man.
And that's why they pulling the plug on America. they piled us up and think they're going to get rid of us. This is Revelations 12 and 9. I'm going to start at 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought with his angels. The dragon and angels talking about these other nations. All right, because the dragon is talking about Esau, which at this point in time was the Roman army. Okay? But now, Rome all over again, America, man. Who are his angels? His allies. What is Trump trying to do? China, come on, you know, you need to get them in order. North Korea, you need to do this and that. That's his angels, man. Hey, these America ain't growing no war on their fucking arm, man. He got a fucking great ally, man. And prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Malachi, the 1st chapter, makes it clear that this is talking about Esau. not actual Satan. Then you got Job, what is that? Job 30 and 29, man. You know, the dragon is talking about Esau, our brother. He was cast down to the earth, and his angel was cast out with him. Alright? So that's all the heathens, man. Esau is the dragon with his angels, these heathens, man. And that battle is getting ready to happen. So go ahead, brother.
That's all good. This is because brother made a statement, man. These heathens, capitalize off your downfall, man. Why? Because they know this. This is Judith 5 and 19. But now are they returned to their power and are come up from the places where they were scattered and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their power be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world. And that's that great fear that fell upon them, man. Hey, because they know they have the history, man. They got the record books showing us coming out of Egypt, man, and how great fear fell upon them, and how they knew about the wonders that the Lord did for us when we came out of Egypt. They knew that when we were in our right mind, man, they couldn't stand up against us, man. And here we are standing up upon our feet, back in our right mind again, man. Mm-hmm. This is you want something else?
You go ahead.
This is Esther 14 and 5. This is Esther speaking, right? She says, "From my youth up, I have heard in the tribe of my family that thou, O Lord, tookest Israel from among all people, and our fathers from all their predecessors, for a perpetual inheritance," means everlasting, perpetual. "And thou hast performed whatsoever thou didst promise them. And now we have sinned before thee, therefore hast thou given us into the hands of our enemies, because we worship their gods. O Lord, thou art righteous." It says, "Nevertheless, it satisfieth them not that we are in bitter captivity, but they have stricken hands with their idols." So these heathens ain't satisfied that we in captivity, man. They got the same mindset as Esau, Edom, who's spearheading them, man. They want us wiped off this planet, man. Verse 9, "That they will abolish the thing that thou with thy mouth hast ordained, and destroy thine inheritance, and stop the mouth of them that praise thee, and quench the glory of thy house and of thy altar." Verse 10, "And open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praises of the idols, and to magnify a fleshly king forever," man. And that's what these heathens want to do, man. Because they all join hand in hand with Esau, Edom. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to magnify a fleshly king, which is Esau, Edom, man. They want to set forth the praises of their idols, man. So they want to get rid of us, man. Like it says in Wisdom of Solomon, 2nd chapter, we are made to reprove their thoughts, man. So therefore they hate us, man. Like it says in Amos 5 and 10, they hate him that rebuketh in the gate, man. That ain't just our people. Shit, it started with these heathens, man. And that's why our people got that mindset, because they joined with these heathens.
I appreciate it. This is Psalms 83, 83 and 4. Well, I'm 83 and 4. It says, 3. "They have taken crafty counsel against our people." Start the top kind. Yeah. Psalms 83 and 1. "Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against our people, and consulted against our hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites of Moab."
And look who's first, man. Esau, Edom.
That's right.
He's the ringleader. He's that serpent. Right. They ain't gonna name his fucking angels, man. All right, that's trodden us down under feet. That said, aha. Oh, in fact. Go ahead, big guy. I got a piece up.
It says, "The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also will join with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, Selah." And that's a clear-cut indicator All right, all the nations are gathered against the children of Israel, man. Because look, these people knew who we were, but yet none of them helped. But they profited in our downfall, man. You know, the brothers get ready to get into it. They said, "Aha, you know, is this the glorious city that the Most High put his name in?" Or I'm butchering it, but the word of that effect, you know.
This is Lamentations 2 and 15. All that passed by clapped their hands at thee. They hissed and wagged their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, "Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thy enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it." All right? Hey, so all the heathens is confederate with Esau. Man, y'all got that one man. They all rejoiced and sent gifts and traded us back and forth, man, and get rich off of us because we the most consumingest people in America. All right? They all benefited off of getting it and giving their power over to this whore. All right? But that's why it's two lots. They in league with Esau, so they're going to get that judgment with Esau.
Zechariah 11 and 4 says, "Thus saith Yahweh my power, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not." You know, and that's the whole thing. We're a thorn in the side of these other nations, right? All right, because they know that we're spiritually we're above them, all right? Because Yahweh says so. It says, "Who possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty," because it's a good thing for them to have us out the way, man. You know, they sit up here and they watching all these major cities and even these small cities and towns where Jake is killing each other, being ignorant, all right, being acting like beasts. So it's a good thing to them for it to be out the way, all right. It says they sell them that say, "Blessed be Yahweh, for I'm rich," you know, and their own shepherd pity them not, because our own people also sell us unto the to these other nations, man. You know,
right? Back in Maccabees, and they sought to be the Greeks. You know, and that counsel pleased the king well. This is Ezekiel 36 and 1. "Also, thou son of man, prophesy unto the mountains of Israel, and say, Ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because the enemy have said against you, Aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. Therefore prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, because they have made you desolate and swallow you up on every side, that you may be a possession unto the residue of the heathen, and you are taken up in the lips of talkers, and are an infamy of the people. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the rivers, and to the valleys, to the desolate wastes, and to the cities that are forsaken, which became a prey and derision, to the residue of the heathen that are round about. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea, which have pointed my land into their possession, with the joy of all their heart, with the despiteful minds that cast it out for a prey. So there you go, man. Again, Esau was that ringleader, but he also gathered these nations to come against us, man. All right, and they all tried us down. Like Yahushua said, it was a time of the Gentiles. That's the two lots. This time right now was the time of the Gentiles, but it's coming to an end because we waking back up to this truth, man. All right, we overcoming by the blood of the Lamb. So now that we waking up and overcoming the blood of the Lamb, guess what's going to happen? They finna try to come kill us. It's that simple. Because we're contrary to them and their fucking agenda. So Satan and his angels been trotting us down, you know, beating our ass, but we waking up and they've been trying to put out all these false doctrines and trying to counteract everything. But the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, we haven't stumbled, man. And we stand strong for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Alright, so the next move is them to come and try to kill us. Because this is it. Yahweh Shai is on his way back. Which ultimately he's the dragon against Esau, man. And we're Esther in this case. Hey, what did Jeremiah say? We are likened to a comely, delicate woman. You know? We that ambush. As Esther was an ambush. We that ambush, man. It says the barren woman, all right, shall have more children than her that is married. Salakia. The forsaken one shall have more than that was married, man. So we are that little people. We that little river, man. That little fountain, Salakia. That little fountain that's gonna grow, man.
Lamentations. Did you been on Lamentations? I don't remember that. So Lamentations 2
and 15.
God.
Brothers just read.
God, okay.
Like the brother said, hey, because that was further in the lesson.
Salakia.
But that Esther represents the elect in that dream, man. Because today, man, hey, that little river, that water, man, ultimately is Yahweh Shai giving it to the elect, and the elect is that light of the world, man. Savior shall come upon Mount Zion, like it says at the last verse in Obadiah. You know, but this is back in Esther 3. I'm gonna pick it back up at verse 12. It says, "Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, in the name of King Ahasuerus was it written and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day, man." And guess what? Back then, that day was Jacob's trouble, man. Today, guess what, man? Hey, it's going to be on a whole nother scale, man. It's going to be on a whole nother scale. This is Ezekiel 23 and 22. "Therefore, O Aholibah, thus saith the Lord of power, behold, I will raise up thy lovers against thee, from whom thy mind is alienated, and I will bring them against thee on every side. The Babylonians and all the Chaldeans, Pekah and Shoah and Koa, all the Assyrians with them, all of them desirable young men, captains and rulers, great lords in renown, all of them riding upon horses. And they shall come against thee with chariots, wagons, and wheels, and with an assembly of people, which shall set against thee buckler and shield and helmet round about. And I will set judgment before them, and they shall judge thee according to their judgments." And that's what's going to happen, man. When martial law is declared, man, when these foreign troops is on America's soil, you know, they ain't gonna have no pity on you Negroes, man. When I say you niggas, I mean all 12 tribes, man. They not gonna show no pity. Why? Because you are the people that prepare a table, prepare a number for that table. I'm butchering. I'm gonna get it. This is Isaiah 65. Yeah. It's Isaiah 65 and 11. It says, "But ye are they that forsake Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that forget my holy mountain, that prepare a table for their troop, and that furnish the drink offering unto that number." You know? So we out here telling you, man, hey, to turn from your wickedness, man. To don't be joined with this devil. You know? Because here it is, you got IUIC pushing this thing about not exposing Esau. You got to expose Esau, man. That's a part of edifying your people of who they are, man.
We can't escape unless we expose Esau. 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. That's the war we're going. That's the war we fighting right now. We fighting a war right now, man. It's spiritual. Our weapons are not carnal, but spiritual. This is the great fucking battle. Us against Esau. The truth against lies. Everybody that stand up against the injustice shall fall be liars. Hey, because we speak this word, this people shall be wood, and we should speak fire, man. This is the war that matters how we overcome it through the blood of Yahweh Shai. You fucking devils, man. You motherfuckers in IUIC are devils, man. John 8:44. And that's why you're going to get the devil's judgment.
Hey, because we went into it yesterday on the line in Indiana, man. Hey, these lessons is what Lord willing to help you able to stand in that day, man. Because that day, matter of fact, brought it out yesterday. I'm just bringing it out today for edification's sake. This is Ezekiel 13, and I'm going to start at 2. It says, "Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy, and say unto them that prophesy out of their own hearts, Hear ye the word of Yahweh. So hear this word, man. Not the word of your own belly, not out of your own goddamn mind, man. This is the word of Yahweh Basham Yahushai, man. It says, thus saith the Lord power. Woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the desert. Ye have not gone up into the gaps, which Nate don't do. He don't go out to the highways and byways and teach. You know, the scripture says in season, out of season, man. Not once a year or twice a year or however long he do it, man. He ain't out there. It says, ye have not gone into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel, man. We building a hedge right now, man, a protection. From what? From the sword, man. We are watchmen and we telling you the sword is coming. Here it is, how you a watchman, but we can't tell you. We ain't gonna talk about the sword. Who is the sword, man? It's Esau Edom. It's the wicked.
Hey, what does it say in Isaiah? They're watching our dumb dogs, man. Mute, and dumb means mute. You don't bark, you don't warn.
It says, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, man. So, so we building brothers up so they can be able to stand in that day, man. Stand against what? The wiles of the devil, man. We are not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. This is all a part of the doctrine. This is a major part of the doctrine, man. Well, shit, you already took the names of the Lord away, so, hey, I ain't surprised at that either, man. But we gonna get back on your daddy, though. So from there, I was hoping it's Amos 1 and 11. I'm going to just read it. It's Amos 1 and 11. It says, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and kept his wrath forever. And when you read the book of Esther, the one in the Bible and in the Apocrypha, it shows you that, man. And just living life today, it shows you that, man. Once you have that eye salve, once Yahweh Shai open your mind, man. So from there, all these different nations is coming up against you, man. They're coming up against us. Why? Because we're standing upon our feet. This is Revelations 12 and 17. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, man. And the brother just read about the dragon and his angels. And he read Psalms 83. I just read you in Ezekiel 23. You know, the devil's angels is the rest of these nations that's gathered with him, man. So just like how he rallied all these heathens back during the time of Esther, he's doing it again, man. It's repeating itself. Isaiah 1 and 9, the thing that has been is the things that which shall be, you know. But this is Revelation. I'm going to jump down. I'm going to jump over. This Revelation 17 and 14. It says, these shall make war with the Lamb, right? The same thing we read. They shall make war. It says, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful, man. So that's the end goal, man. The end goal is that we're going to overcome this, man, through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, man, because we covered. We made up that hedge, man, because we prepared ourselves in the day of battle, man. You know, here it is. The Lord said, what's that, Timothy? Endure hardness as a good soldier. You know, him that entangleth,
him that entangled himself with the affairs of this world. Fuck yeah, damn, I ain't gonna get there.
This is 2 Timothy 2 and 3. Therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushai. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. So you called into this thing to be a soldier. Who are you warring against? Right. Oh, but you ain't gonna teach that. You're not preparing them for the day of battle then, man. Like the brother said, man. He said our warfare is not carnal but spiritual. To the pulling
down the strongholds.
God, the water. I was gonna grab that too.
Had to get one.
Man, bro. Cause you know, but ultimately, man, we gonna get the victory through Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, man.
Hey, cause we overcoming by the blood. This word, man.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
This is Psalm 38 and 19. Let's start 18. I will declare my iniquity, I will be sorry for my sin. But my enemies are lively, and they are strong. And they that hate me wrongfully are multiplied. They also that render evil for good are mine adversaries, because I follow the thing that good is, man. So that's these other nations who are who the brother bringing out, and we're gonna get into. We're contrary to them, man. I mean, the things that we do, fucking, they hate that, man. You know, when we so-called clean up their mess, you know, like when they go off and shit, we brother get go in and clean up their mess and make corrections, man. They hate that, man. You know, when we go out here pushing the chip, pushing who our enemies are, you know, and their prophetic destruction. All right, that's why they want to cut out the internet. That's why they want to gather all these martial law troops and these super cops and all these damn chemical biological warfare, man. All right, it's to destroy the prophets, man. And they are strong, man, because we don't have the power to defeat Esau on this playing field, man. That's why we gotta have the spirit of Yahweh Shai with us.
Yep, because ultimately, man, like, hey, we gonna overcome this, man. You know? Yeah, because mentioned in Ecclesiastes, it said the thing that has been is which it shall be. So what happened with Esther's, not Esther, but what happened with Haman's plan, man? This is what happens with Esther's plan, This is what happened with Haman's plan. This is Psalms 10:2. The wicked in his pride do persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Because guess what? Because when you read the book of Esther, guess what happened to Haman, man? He built the gallows to hang Mordecai on, but guess what? He was hanged on his own device, man. Likewise is what's going to happen today, man. Esau Edom is going to get brought down by his own device, man. By those instruments of war, man. By those ICBM nuclear missiles that the Lord gave him the knowledge to create, only to destroy himself with, man. This is Psalm 7:15. He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made. His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealings shall return upon his own pate, man. You know what your pate is, your crown, man. It says, I will praise Yahweh according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, the Most High, man. You know? Hey, because that's what's going to happen against all those that fight against Jerusalem. Mm-hmm.
This is Psalms 37. Shit. I'm going to start at 7, because I'm mad I didn't bring out this verse 8 and sit down earlier. So this is Psalms 37:7. Rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospered in his way, because of the man. I'm going to read 1 and skip down. This is Psalms 37:1. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. For they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herb. Trust in Yahweh and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed, right? Verse 7. Rest in Yahweh and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospered in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise do evil. So we wait on Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, man. That's the end to all this, you know. Scoff and all that other shit, man. And the Lord's going to handle it all. Just as he took down Haman and he even gave, and guess what? He took down Haman and then told, and Israel got the chance to get, to put their hands on the necks of their enemies too. All right? For evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon Yahweh, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, though it's like thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. The wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. So your sword is going to enter your own heart, man. And you, for your own nukes, your own technology, All right, your own blessing is finna kill you, man. Your blessing of the sword. All right, you silence the nations with your nuke technology, with the atom bombs, and guess what? You're gonna be silenced yourself by your own technology, man.
This is Psalms 9 and 15. It says, the heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Salah.
Right. Ecclesiastes 10 and 8. You had.
Well, I'll go to 16, but go ahead.
This is Ecclesiastes 10 and 8. He that diggeth the pit shall fall into it. Whoso breaketh an hedge, a serpent shall bite him.
That breaketh that hedge, man. Not building that hedge, but he breaking it, man. The serpent shall bite him. Who's the serpent, man? Esau Edom, man. You know? Hey, that's why Sirach 10 says, who shall pity the charmer, man? That's bitten by a snake or that come by any wild beast, man. Here it is. Esau is the hyena. He's the ravaging lion, man. You know? He's the serpent. And we as lambs, you just playing with the motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? You tell the lamb who their enemies are, man. Here it is, the lamb out there kicking it with the wolf and the lion and the snake and shit, just chilling, man. Not knowing that those are your fucking enemies, man.
Whoso removeth stones shall be hurt therewith. And he that cleaveth the wood shall be endangered thereby. And cleaveth wood means to split, you know. So Esau, you know, they chopped us down, they didn't finish destroy us, man. The same plan they got against us to try to remove us, it's how they're gonna die, man. It's how this place falls and Esau kingdoms go down.
The Sirach 10 and 16, I thought you were in the Apocrypha.
No, Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, God. Sirach 10 and 16. I'm gonna start at 15. I'm gonna start at 14. The Lord Yahweh has cast down the thrones of proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. Yahweh has plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. Yahweh overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. Took some of them away and destroyed them, and had made their memorial to cease from the earth. You know, and that's what was going on in Esther, man. All the nations that gathered round about. All right, the Lord put the Spirit upon them to prevail. Okay, ended up taking them down, man. You know.
It's Esther in the Apocrypha, chapter 16, and I'm gonna start at 10 because because everything turned upside down for Esau Edom, man, and the same thing is gonna happen now, man. Same thing is gonna happen. This is Esther 16 verse 10. For Haman, a Macedonian, the son of Amadatha, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood, and far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us, had so far forth obtained the favor that we show toward every nation, as that he was called our father, and was continually honored of all men as the next person unto the king. But he, not bearing his great dignity, went about to deprive us of our kingdom and life, having by manifold and cunning deceits sought of us the destruction as well of Mordecai, who saved our life and continually procured our good, as also of blameless Esther, partaker of our kingdom, with their whole nation. For by these means he thought, finding us destitute of friends, to have translated the kingdoms of the Persians to the Macedonians. But we find, at verse 15 is the point. I read all that to get a build up of what the king Ahasuerus is saying, man. He's seeing that this guy's the devil, that he's the demon that we've been saying he is, which in the end, hey, that's what's going to happen, man. All these nations going to realize that this goddamn dude was the cause of everything. The reason we getting fucked up is because we followed this guy, and they going to hate this dude, man. Obadiah says what, man? I have made thee small amongst the heathen, man. You know? You are greatly despised, man. All these nations hate Esau Edom, man. It says, verse 15, but we find that the Jews, whom this wicked wretch have delivered, which he talking about Haman, you know, it says, but we find that the Jews, whom this wicked wretch have delivered to utter destruction, are no evildoers, but live by most just laws. Can we get Proverbs 29 and 2? Because that's ultimately what's going to happen, man. Ecclesiastes 1, man. The thing that have been is that which shall be done, man. It says, are no evildoers, but live by most just laws, and that they be the children of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, and the most mighty living power, who have ordered the kingdom both unto us and to our progenitors in the most excellent manner. So here it is, Asaharas, he's acknowledging that Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai has given him and his forefathers the kingdom, man. In the kingdom of heaven, they're going to acknowledge us as their gods. And in turn doing that, that's them worshiping Yahweh Yahushai, man. Can we get Isaiah 60 and 12 and Zechariah 14 and 16? I'm going to keep reading this. Back in Esther verse 17 now, it says, wherefore ye shall do well not to put in execution the letter sent unto you by Haman the son of Amadatha. For he that was the worker of these things is hanged at the gates of Shushan with all his family. And that's what's going to happen to all you Edomites, man. It says, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, who ruleth all things, speedily rendering vengeance to him according to his deserts. And that's what's going to happen, man. The Lord is going to render you according to your deserts, man. According to your mind, according to your pleasures, man. And Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai is going to reward you according to that, man. So you thought to lay hand and destroy us? Guess what? You're going to be destroyed, man. You're going to be wiped off this planet, man, after your 1,000 years of servitude. So what you purpose to do unto us shall be done unto you, man.
Isaiah 60.
Did I call for one before that? Isaiah 62?
You going to Proverbs 29?
Oh, for sure.
Proverbs 29 and 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn.
Exactly, man. So all these heathens, man, they're going to rejoice when the righteous are in authority. When the kingdom of Yasharallah is restored, man. All these people are going to rejoice, man. Go ahead, bro.
There's Isaiah 60 and 12. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, for nations shall be utterly wasted.
And that's plain and straight to the point, man. You know, because that's what's going to happen in the kingdom of heaven, man. All these heathens is going to acknowledge, man. You know, that damn, man. That Deuteronomy 4, what it says, man. That these are wise and understanding people, man. What people has Yahweh so near and close unto them, man. Hey, that's going to be said. That's going to be brought back, man.
This is Sirach 36 and 1. So have mercy upon us, O Yahweh, of all, and behold us. And send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations, and let them see thy power. As thou was sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us. And let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no power but only thou, O Yahweh. Show new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. Raise up indignation and pour out wrath. Take away the adversary and destroy thy enemy, man. And you know, and that's the whole thing we're looking forward to. And even back during the time of Esther, man, that was a remarkable thing the Most High have done, man. All right, imagine yourself being in the middle, and all your enemies round about you, man. You know.
This is Zechariah 14 and 16. And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Lord of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Can you get that in Baruch? I think it's the 5th chapter. The glory of Yahweh's worship.
Yeah.
It says, verse 17, and it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, Lord of hosts, upon them shall be no rain. And if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have they come not to have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the feast of tabernacles, man. You know? So you're gonna, you're gonna serve us and you're gonna love it.
This is Baruch 5:1. Put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of thy mourning and affliction, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever. Cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which cometh from the Most High, and set a diadem on thine head on thine head of the glory of the everlasting. For Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai will show thy brightness unto every country under heaven.
It will show thy brightness unto every country under heaven, man. So that Deuteronomy 4 and 5 gonna come back, man. You know? Well, 4 verse 5 on down, man. Where it says this is a wise and understanding people, man. What people has God so near unto them, man?
For thy name shall be called of the Most High forever, the peace of righteousness and the glory of the Most High's worship.
And the glory of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai's worship, man. That's what we're going to be called, man. You know? So all these heathens, all these nations are going to come worship us, man. And they're going to love to do so, and they're going to rejoice, man. Why? Because everything is going to be done in righteousness, man. Like we read, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, man. You know? This is, I guess I ended with this if you brothers ain't got nothing else. This is, 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. You know? And that which followeth, man, it comes with all goodness, man. You know? All righteousness, you know? All equity, you know? That's going to be our rest, man. And after 1,000 years of your servitude, you're going to have rest, man. And that's how the world will be at peace, man. Ahasuerus was asking his counselors, how can I do this, man? By establishing Israel, man. Israel being established on this planet as the numero uno, man, is how everything can be done peaceably, man. According to Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. Because once Israel is established, man, it will be no more wars, man. You know?
Right. Hey, look, when we was in power, we never dropped no bombs on nobody. Hell, Israel didn't really go start wars, man, unless you had to get dealt with. It says in second. Did you just read what all good things were?
No, I quoted it. This is
Because even Isaiah 14, man, it says, "When the trees rejoice," it says, "No feller come upon us." Now, you know, even the actual trees is gonna be fucking happy, but that's them nations, man.
Yep.
I've seen people walking as trees.
Yep.
Hey, man, we ain't gonna take y'all down. It's Revelation 20. After 1,000 years, the rest of the dead shall live, man. After that captivity, you're gonna get your own lands back, and it's gonna be wonderful. Only time you have to worry about a plague of no rain or drought is if you fucking up.
That's it. This is 2nd Esdras 7 and 6. There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things, man.
All right. As the ruler is, so is the people, man. So we living in abundance and having all good things. We're gonna deal justly and fairly the same way, man. See, with Esau rulership, when you read Maccabees, it tells you the earth don't give its increase like it should. Everything is just down, man. You know, everything is weak in life. So when we get back in rulership, man, and you're gonna have abundance, man. All right, you ain't gonna have to worry about small pollution and shit. You goddamn goof to stop wearing those damn fucking face masks and shit. You ain't gonna have to worry about fucking diseases like AIDS and shit. That's crazy. Esau made this shit. Like, they made this shit and put it out there. Chemtrails and shit.
Yep. Because what we just explained is the last part of the dream of Mordecai. I'm going to bring it back. Esther 11, verse 10. Then they cried unto Yahweh, And upon their cry, because what does Proverbs 2 says, man? If any of you lack wisdom, let them pray unto the Most High that giveth liberally. Is that it? That might be James 1.
You combine them both. You combine James and Proverbs. Proverbs 2 does say cry out. James says if any man lack anything,
The water.
Right.
The water.
That give liberally.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes it be like that.
Proverbs 2 and 3. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge and lift up thy voice for understanding, if thou seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of Yahweh and find the knowledge of the Most High, man. And so I'm going to go back to this, Esther 11 and 10. Then they cried unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, and upon their cry, as it were, from a little fountain, was made a great flood, even much water. Because this knowledge represents what? Living waters, man. You know? And who obtained this knowledge, man? Romans 11 and 7. The election have obtained it, and the rest were blinded, man. You know?
I got one more actually.
So in this analogy, man, Esther represents the wisdom that we received, man, that came to save us, man. Which this wisdom, which this knowledge, which is this law, which is this word, is Yahweh Shai, man. You know? And if Lord willing, we are joint heirs, we are a part of the body of Yahweh Shai, and that makes us, you know, those elect men, man. If we continue to endure until the end, as the scripture says.
This is Isaiah 54, 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahweh, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahweh. Ba'asham Yahweh Shai.
Yep.
There you go, man. So the great battle is starting now, man. It's a hey, we took it down, the cover cast over all people, which is another reason why these heathens are going to hate you, Esau, because you deceived them, man. They've drunk in that wine and the wrath of fornication, man, because of you. They're going to fucking hate you. They're already turning on you. The heathens are already turning on you.
This is back in Esther 11, the next verse, verse 11. It says, the light and the sun rose up. What's the light, man? Yahushua said light has entered into the world. Peter spoke about into that day dawn arises in your heart, man. Yahushua is that sun. Yahushua is that light, man. And we're ambassadors for Yahushua here on this earth. So that makes us that light, man. You know? It says, the light and the sun rose up, and the lowly were exalted. Who was the lowly, man? You Israelites. And devoured the glorious. Who was the glorious, man? These nations that's sitting up on high, man. It's going to be that trading of places, man. You know? Yeah, that was it.
The meek shall inherit the earth.
That's right.
All right, and once this thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be a spoil. Hey, the saints should take the kingdom. I just say we should perform valiantly.
You have scripture?
Well, I just grabbed the Peters for you about the light. I'll read it for you.
Yeah.
This is 2 Peter's 1 and 19. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that you take heed as unto a light that shines in a dark place.
That's that light, man. That they go Mordecai's dream. It's happening all over again. The nations are assembling themselves against that great day. What's that day? Jacob's trouble.
Oh shit, get 2 13. I can't forget that because Yahushua is the ultimate. He's the other dragon. 2 13.
Oh yeah, coming out of the sky.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Finish this off. We have also a more sure word of prophecy. Hey, the Lord finna fuck y'all up, man. Hey, the Mordecai was beautiful, man. It's gonna happen again. And then to you people, man, hey, anybody that watch these videos, there's no half in, half out. This ain't the time to be half in, half out, man. This ain't the time to have lukewarm spirit, man. That lukewarm spirit is you're gonna get fucked up. You either in this thing, man, or you in the world. Alright, because you're gonna get more stripes fucking around with the Lord, man.
Yep.
Don't hide your talent, man. Alright, if the Lord is giving you this opportunity to receive mercy, you gotta show that same amount of love back. Labor. If you love me, feed my sheep. You hear me? If you love me, feed my sheep, man.
Y'all scripture for you real fast. This is Psalms 116:12. What shall I render unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai for all his benefits towards me? That's a question King David is asking, man. What you gonna render unto the Lord for everything that he bestowed upon you? The very next verse, verse 13. I will take the cup of salvation and call upon the name of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, man. So that's how you show the Lord that you love him, man. That's how you show the Lord that you appreciative for all the benefits that he showed towards you, man.
Keep going, because there's more to it.
Yes, sir. Verse 14.
What do Yahweh Shai say? What's the greatest love you can show? Keep going.
Verse 14. I will pay my vows unto Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai now in the presence of all his people. Hey, what we doing now, man? It's, the scripture says you have confessed a good profession in front of many witnesses, man. Here it is, we out on the internet, billions of people see us, man. Here it is, we out on the highways and byways, man. You know how many people walk up and down the downtown streets of Chicago, man?
And that's the key, because it says Paul said what? The apostle set up last to be as unto death, because that's what we're gonna read in the next verse. As unto death, to be a spectacle unto the people. We got to make ourselves a living sacrifice. And that's the answer to the question. Yahweh Shai said, no greater love has a man to lay down his life. So we got to do the same thing, be that living sacrifice.
Yep. Verse 15. Precious in the sight of Yahweh is the death of his saints.
There you go, man. That's precious to the Lord. Be that living sacrifice. Well, how else can we repay him back? Everything we got is a gift. Faith, the wisdom, being placed as sons, man. That's just grace and mercy, his own will. It's the Lord's good pleasure to give us the kingdom.
Yep.
Let me finish this Peter's off. This is 2 Peter 1:19. We have also a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto you do well that you take heed.
You do well that you take heed, man. Hey, because, like Paul said, man, we have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai, man. We give you the sweet and the bitter, man. Whatever it may be, whatever you think is better, man, we give it to you, man. We give you the ins outs, the straight skinny, as certain brothers say, man. Go ahead, bro.
As into a light that shineth in a dark place, until the day dawn and the day star arise in your hearts.
Yep. That day star is what, man? The sun, man. And who is the day star, man? Revelation 22nd chapter, man. Yahushua said, I am the root and the offspring of David and the bright and morning star, man. So Yahushua is that light, man. He is that star, man. He is what arose that redeemed us, that saved us, man. You know? We ended on that.
Yeah, we ended on that.
13.
Okay. You start at the top.
It says, in the Canaan, 2 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night.
Because it's going to go into the war in heaven that the brother read earlier, man. The devil and his angels fought against, did it say Michael and his angels? You know? Which Daniel 12 says Michael stood up, man. So Michael is there with Yahushua, man. Yahushua is leading it, man. And Michael and the rest of the angels is following, man.
And the angels is also working on brothers' minds to keep us in this truth in this great battle, man. On the spiritual side.
So that, and I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that had moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven.
Hey, that's those nations, man. You know?
To
subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld him.
And now the sea is talking about the heavens, man.
Yep.
Okay, because what the word heavens is Shemayim. Shah means pertaining to Mayim, water.
That's right. Pertaining to the waters, man.
But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereof the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet there was fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with the violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid.
That's great destruction, because he's having a vision and he got scared, man. And that's what's coming to you nations, man, because you're going to fight against the Lord, and that's going to be your death. You made all these weapons to fight against the Lord just to bring your own destruction. All right?
Laser beams and missiles, man. This is the plague to all those that fight against Jerusalem, man. And it goes to you Idumean Hamites who's joined with these heathens, man. Right. That you in the army with these heathens, man. You know? You left on the shores of America scoffing. You're going to get hit by laser beams and ICBM nuclear missiles, man.
So what if some don't believe? You're going to feel it.
That's right. Hey, with that, all praises, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and salutations to you brothers preaching the gospel in truth and in sincerity, always in charity, man. And we hope this was an edifying lesson, man. You know, and we hope it built up you brothers' spirits, man. So you brothers don't get caught out here with this madness that these other fucking bootleg false Israelites teach, man. You know,
like it says in Psalm 37, fret not.
Esau must be exposed, man. How's his skirt being lifted? How's his leg being made bare?
How are the hidden things of Esau sought up?
You know? So with that, shalom, brothers.
Shalom.